All right, this is the Mean Girls Knit podcast, and I am Rebecca, and it's Mean Girls plural, but my sister she can't be convinced to come back and do it again, so I'm probably not going to be looking at the camera, I'm sorry. But anyway, she hasn't really been convinced to do it, so when I'm doing this so that I can run the podcast into the ground, like further than it is, and then you guys can message her and be like, please come back, because it's terrible without you. I think it is, and I think she should be convinced too. Okay, so I'm Rebecca, and I am 39 years old. I live in Bremerton, Washington with my boyfriend and my 5 kids and my 2 dogs, both of which are named Kevin. And my advice to you is if you have 2 giant dogs, or you want 2 giant dogs or more, just name them both the same thing. And that way it's really easy because they just both do whatever you want them to do instead of, you know, having to call each one individually. So they're both Kevin. I have a Mastiff and a Lab, and I think they're so fun. No, I don't knit them dog clothes. They're not knit worthy. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram as Hey It's Rebecca. There's an H at the end. Common misconception, my name isn't actually spelled with an H at the end. It's just my last initial, kind of. Anyway, not the point. So I'm in Bremerton, and that's my Instagram, and I would invite you to follow me there, not because I want a whole bunch of followers. That's not what that's about. It's just I like making friends and being friends with other knitters, and so if you don't have a knitting friend, I'll be your knitting friend, and or you just want to be friends because you think I'm awesome. Yeah, I don't really know if I want to be friends with people who think I'm awesome because, you know, me. Okay, so I'm a knitter, and that's my identity. That's what I do. That's what I love. I love fiber. That's it. That's my whole life. I knit probably somewhere between 6 to 15 hours a day. Now that all my kids are in school, it's actually a lot easier to knit, but even when they're home, I just sit and knit. We all hang out, actually. They don't go anywhere or do anything without me. Like, they don't hide up in their rooms all day. They just sit downstairs with me, and I knit, and they do whatever it is they do, and my kids do chores. And I do chores too, but when you have 5 kids and you're like trying to keep your house clean, you just make them do stuff. And some people think that's child abuse these days, but I think you live here, you just do some chores. Okay, wow. Should I do life update? I like when people do life updates at the beginning because I'm like, oh, I want to know what you're up to. And I know a lot of people don't like that because they're like, I'm just here for the knitting. And I guess if you're just here for the knitting, there's a lot of other podcasts out there that are just knitting. But I like being social on here and making friends. I'm nervous about doing this by myself. I guess my biggest hang up is A, there's no one to talk to, it's just me. And B, it's like if somebody leaves a mean comment and they're like, oh, you're ugly, I have to take it personal. I can't just be like, hey, Stephanie, guess what they said about you? You know what I mean? So it's just me. Oh, Stephanie's not here, but I'm wearing our shirt with us on it. And that's why we're called the Mean Girls, is because this is who we are. If you invite us to an event like your wedding, we will sit in the back and find it endlessly hilarious. And yeah, so if you have done that to us, invited us somewhere, we did that to you, yes. We just like to talk about everybody, mostly like family and friends, you know, like we like to call up each other and gossip. And so we are the Mean Girls. We're not actually like Mean Girls like the movie, it's just kind of funny. So yeah, that's it. We've been actually told. You can't even see it, that sucks. The angle's not right. This is my yarn bookshelf, my yarn shelf. This is my other yarn shelf, and this is a big pile of scraps. And you know how knitting is, right? There's more. This is actually huge, but you know how knitting is. It's everywhere. And my room is way too messy for me to be showing you everything. Let's see, what am I forgetting? Okay, we stopped doing it because it's a pandemic. We live about an hour and a half from each other, so it's hard to get together as it is. And then when we do get together, it's kind of hard to spend an hour. I feel like it's right there. It's hard to spend together. It's hard to just spend it podcasting instead of actually talking to each other and knitting, which is what we really want to do. And so here we are. Let's see, life update. It's all over my Instagram. If you don't know, I got diagnosed with catastrophic tinnitus a year ago, and that's been ruining my life. And I know that a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I have tinnitus too, or my grandpa has it and he just sleeps with a fan on. And those things are actually really hurtful when people say that. Like, I understand that that's really upsetting for people, but mine is life limiting. Like, if it gets worse, or my life could be over. I expect that if there's not a treatment in the next 5 years or so, 10 years, that I probably won't live very long. And I know people are like, oh, it can't be that bad. It's like a car alarm in my head. I haven't slept without medication in over a year. I take sleeping pills now. And I take a lot of anti-anxiety drugs just to like not be distressed about what's happening to me. That was really personal. And that's how that is. And it's hard because, you know, telling people you have tinnitus, people are like, oh yeah, I have tinnitus. Oh my God, my energy drink. Telling people you have tinnitus, they're like, you know, it's not a big deal. But the fact of the matter is that it's a lot like I have stage 4 cancer and somebody is like, oh yeah, I had a mole removed. I'm sure that mole removal was upsetting and now you have to go get checked out every year, but I might die. And so that has been a struggle. But I have hearing aids and I make it day by day. And so if you have tinnitus or you know somebody who has it catastrophically, like really bad, I was diagnosed with catastrophic. There are options and I would love to talk to you about that. But I did have it for 17 years where I just slept with a fan on and it was fine. So I know what mild tinnitus is like. It's awful. It's distressing. I understand. I've been there. But that is like what I'm dealing with mostly in my life. That's the big thing. Oh, and also, it's relevant, I guess, kind of. I was at a therapy appointment a few weeks ago, and it's a small little building. It's not very big. And we had to do a lockdown because they said that there was an active shooter in the building. And that was pretty awful. Like, it wasn't like, oh, they're nearby, or oh, they're threatening to come, or they were like, yeah, pretty much it's over, guys. Like, he's in the building and this is bad. And that was really horrible. And I spent a lot of time in there contemplating my immortality. And it ended up that he wasn't there. We found out an hour later after we were like hiding. He wasn't there. He was at his house, which was whatever, he got arrested and that's fine. But I spent like the first 2 weeks in shock. Like, I just stared at the ceiling and didn't do anything. And then I was like, oh, you know, I should live my best life. So now that's what I'm doing, I guess, which is why my makeup looks like a sunburn. It's not really a sunburn. I just like it. I forgot something on my face. Okay, that's okay. So now I'm just buying a ton of yarn and knitting everything and being like serotonin. Like, I almost died, so I get whatever I want. And I'm really milking that for all it's worth. And so far, people are just going with it. And I don't know how long that's going to go on, but I have been able to basically just do whatever I want and be like, oh, well, you know, I almost died, so live my best life. I bought an advent calendar. I got the Yarn Cafe Creations one, the princess themed one, and I got the Rapunzel skein at the end. And I've bought a lot of yarn. Like, a lot of yarn, and I guess I can't show because I already put it away, which is not like me. But I lived. I'm here. Nobody died. It was very awful. Like, I used to be on lockdowns in school because I was definitely, like, I was in high school during the time of Columbine, but it was like, oh, it's a threat on the bathroom wall, which wasn't a big deal. But to be told that there's actually somebody in a building that's not very big that they want to hurt you, it's pretty bad. That's pretty bad, but I'm over it now. Like, I'm definitely starting to move past that. It's been about a month. And I've been knitting to make myself feel better, I guess was the point of that story. All of my kids are in school for the first time ever. I've never had all my kids in school before, ever. I've always had somebody at home. I have 5, and they're ages 19 to 6. So next year they'll all be in school again. Hopefully stay in school because of COVID and the rules about what a kid can go to school with and what they can't, like symptoms wise. I always had a kid home. If you had a little cough, you had to stay home. They didn't allow anybody to come in with a single symptom. We actually did get COVID, and then right after we got COVID, they shut the schools down for COVID. And so even though my kids went to school from January to June, like all of them, there was only like 2 5-day periods in there where I was by myself at home alone. Everybody was home all the time. It was kind of awful. But next year, hopefully that gets a little better. And I don't really want to hear anybody's opinions about COVID because it's been 3 years and I promise you I have heard every single opinion there is. And I don't think anybody has anything new at this point, right? So we don't need to go into that. So let's see, knitting. I like knitting. Knitting's fun. Where should I start? Should I do like whips or FOs? I feel like whips are the most interesting. Like I always want to know what people are making, so we're just gonna start there. I'm actually mid-row because I got like my elbow started to hurt last night, so I stopped. But oh my god, I'm so excited! I'm making a Doodler by Stephen West. I love this so much. So this is Dream in Color. I don't remember the colorway. This is So Happy Jane in the Blossom colorway, and this is Yarn Cafe Creations in the Grapefruit colorway. And this is the most amazing. I haven't stopped working on it. I've only been working on this for like probably 7 days total, and I'm almost done. I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about this. I have not been able to put it down. And this is, I made the Doodler when it was the Mystery Knit Along like 7 years ago, but it was my very first Stephen West project, and it was my very first like actually getting into real knitting project, even though I've been knitting for like 14 years. But I didn't like Stephen West. I thought that he was creepy because that exploration station thing on Ravelry really creeps me out. And I was like, he's creepy, but I didn't have anything else to knit. And so I was like, I'm going to knit a Doodler. And Stephanie was like, well, good luck with that. So I actually ended up just dyeing some yarn with Kool-Aid. And I was like, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how it comes out. I'm just going to do this because whatever, I don't care. Well, it turns out I loved it, but I didn't love my colors. They were like pink and turquoise, and it was not cute. It was not cute. So this is the Doodler of my dreams, and I decided to just make it. I've had this yarn for this project stored away for literal years, and I just never had the time to do it. And now, you know, almost died, right? So I'm like, we're gonna make the things that we want to make. And so I'm so excited about this. I think that, oh my God, I've heard so many people say that they want to make a Doodler so bad. This is so simple and so intuitive. I don't even have to look at the pattern half the time. And the cable is really fun. It's these giant cables that are like 18 by 18 stitches towards the end. Like, it's a little rough, but it's worth it, and it's so fun. And the rest of it is just garter stitch and intuitive. And I really miss this period of Stephen West's projects where they were like just a lot of garter stitch and these really fun and interesting shapes. He kind of went off the rails a little bit with not as unique and fun patterns. Don't tell him I said that because I love him, but it's true. I don't know. So I'm definitely planning on doing a bunch of Stephen West stuff that I didn't really get a chance to do. Okay, so my next work in progress, I actually left this at my sister's house and I just got it back the other day. So I am making the TiaTiva Sweater. It's a colorwork sweater, but it's like asymmetrical. And so I think that's actually the back. That's the back. This is the front, and it's colorwork but in short rows. Yeah, and then there's supposed to be some more at the bottom, but honestly I just kept messing up. And I had to rip it out like 12 times, and it's hundreds of colorwork stitches. And finally I was like, you know what, I don't actually care that much. So I have the whole body done, and I'm using, this isn't the exact skein I'm using, Knit Picks Stroll in the gradient. This is called FOMO, so it's a neon. So my sleeves are gonna be, oh, I actually have a sleeve going. This is kind of a green, you can't really tell next to the yellow, but it's neon green. And then the next sleeve is gonna be blue, and that's what I'm doing. And then I'm doing stroll fingering for the body because your girl is balling on a budget. But I bought this and I feel like they changed the stroll base. Like, this is definitely less splitty and more like fluffy, and definitely something I'd want to knit a sweater out of, and not so much like, you know how it used to be like hedgehog sock, like kind of thin and splitty. The gradient is still like that, but the solid colors, like, I want to buy more now. Like, I want to have a whole collection because this reminds me a lot of Cascade Heritage, but it's not as expensive. It's pretty cheap, and I got these on sale. Like, I got these gradients, sorry about the paper. I got these on sale at Knit Picks, obviously, and I think they were like $3, like $3.50 for these because they went on sale. So Knit Pick sales are the best ever, and that's what the girl can afford. So I got that. That's what I'm working on. That's the TiaTiva Sweater. And I actually started it out of some greens and I just didn't like it because I don't like green, but I always want to knit with green. I don't know if you guys have that problem, but I don't like grass green, but I always find myself knitting with green and then not liking it. But anyway, okay, let's see. So before I lose you, because I'm me, let's talk about my favorite whip last year. I don't know if I showed this on the podcast last time we did it. I don't think so. So I made the Shawlography by Stephen West. Oh, look at that, you guys. And it was supposed to be 4 colors. I think 4 colors. And instead of doing 4 colors, I did 3 colors, black, white, and gray. And then I did a mini set. And I did this as the mystery was unfolding. And so I didn't know if my mini set was going to work because I didn't know what was coming next, right? And I'm like, you know what? YOLO. I'm just going to go for it. So I got this rainbow mini set and it worked so perfectly. Oh, I did throw in a little bit of blue. When the brioche section came, I didn't know what was going to happen and how I was going to make that work with my minis because I didn't have much left. So I was like, you know what? Just a little pop of blue in my gray and rainbow. It'll be fine. So I used a little bit of blue, which I don't regret. I love. And then, oh my gosh, this border. Look how this turned out with the mini skeins. Oh, isn't that great? So I'm so excited about this shawl. I don't wear it because why would I wear it? I don't wear my knits. But this is Madeline Tosh, basically everything. Yeah, except I don't ever use Madeline Tosh blacks because I think I use Malabrigo blacks exclusively because it's for single ply, because it's just cheaper and I don't really feel the need to pay $30 for a skein of Madeline Tosh when I can get a Malabrigo solid for like 20 bucks and it's the same color. So anyway, I am in love with this. I think this is so fun. I actually am not a big fan of the shawl design and I'm sorry, but these little like shrimp things, I'm sorry, Stephen, it's so bad. And he was like, oh, just trust the process. It's gonna end up looking really cute. Well, I mean, it kind of does in 2 dimensions, but instead it's, oh, from the side, they're like these little 3-dimensional shrimp shapes. And I feel bad for everybody who did it in pink because I was like, yo, you know what? Don't do Stephen West shawls in pink. That's my advice. I see people, you remember Texture Time, and people that would do it in like this, there was a kit with this fleshy pink color and it ended up looking exactly like a pap smear. And if it was me, I would have been mad. But I'm thinking about doing the next mystery shawl in 1 solid color. I think there's enough texture in his shawls that I could probably get away with it. Or like maybe 1 color and a mini set and just put it in wherever I think it needs contrast. What do you guys think? I don't know. I like this shawl. It's just the shrimp. Okay, the I-cord shrimp just kind of is gross. What do you think? I think it would work out okay. I've been thinking about his other shawls and what that would have looked like, or I'm thinking about doing it in worsted weight and just making the giant schlanket of my dreams. What do you guys think? I think it'd be fun, but I'd have to use like Knit Pick Superwash worsted weight because I am not going to use a bunch of hand-dyed yarn for that because I can't afford it. Let me see if I can pause this. Can I pause it? Nope. All right, where we're going. So just go ahead and take a drink break with me, I guess. Normally I have my sister here and then she can talk and I can take a drink and we can keep going. But she's bailed on me. She's bailed on me, guys. I'm going to leave her contact information in the bottom, by the way, so that you can message her on Instagram. She loves that. Loves that. She would love to hear from all of you about how much this sucked and how much she needs to come back. I think she'd be really excited. Okay, so I did my Shawlography. Oh, you guys, love it. Would I do it if I hadn't done it for the Mystery Knit Along? Probably not, but I feel that way about all Mystery Knit Along shawls. But I love doing them because it gives me the motivation to keep going. And then I have a whole shawl and I don't quit in the middle because shawls get really long at the end. and I will never finish. So I do a lot of mystery knit along. Speaking of that, those are my, I did 2 at the same time this year, I think back in March. I did the Ocean MKAL mystery knit along with Ambah Obrien. I don't love it. I wish I'd used, I wish my color placement was different. I wish that I had, if I'd seen what it was going to look like, I would have done the color placement a little different. A lot different, actually. So it's got these Intarsia moons. It's got the whole moon phase thing. And honestly, guys, it's an unpopular opinion, but I'm over the moon phase thing. And I should have known when she was like, it's ocean moon and it's Intarsia. But I think I was kind of picturing like a moon and like waves or reflection or some kind of Intarsia. I don't know what I was thinking, but this was knit side to side, and then you just knit the Intarsia down. Don't you think this would look so much cuter if the gray was the orange and then the orange was the gray? Yeah, I think so too. This was actually made for a mini set, like a fade mini set, but I don't have that and I didn't want to. So I just picked a third color. And then so it fades. Wouldn't that have looked so much better if the colors were reversed? And then it's got this really cool circle lace. Ooh, that's not a good, I'll just show it to you upside down. Circle lace, and then a picot bind off, but I chose to do my picot bind off in gray. You know why? Because I like it. The gray is sparkly, which was why I picked it, because she said like the sky. So I picked it, but I feel like the sky would have been better in this color. This is Dandelions and Daisies. I love her. I love her yarn. She's a genius and she's so sweet. And this was Yarn and You. I feel like the colorway was Typewriter, but I could be 100% wrong about that. And the gray is a sparkle, because I was like, oh, stars, that's so fun. I forgot. I thought I would remember. I'm like, I don't need show notes. Why would I need that? Although, if I had show notes, you guys would be like, I'm not even sure this is the right podcast. Like, are you a holograph? Because I know you're not that organized. I am not. Okay, and then I did the Time Heals shawl by Romi, the mystery knit along by Romi. You know who Romi is. If you don't, I'll ask me. I'll tell you. Romi Hill. So she did a shawl, a mystery shawl. She does one every year, and this one was called Time Heals. And I was in the group looking at yarn suggestions, and she said, don't use a gradient for the first part. Well, Romi, you don't get to tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. So I did, and it turns out she was actually right. So maybe not with a rebellious attitude while you're picking yarn for mystery knit alongs, but you know what? I did the Shawlography with minis, and that worked out okay. So I thought it would probably be fine. It wasn't. I'm sorry. I'm never going to be looking at the camera. I think that's so hard. I can't believe people can actually do that. It's very, very, because I can't see if I'm actually looking at the camera, right? Like, that's part of the problem. Okay, so anyway, I did the Time Heals, and I did a pink gradient for the lace. See? But it kind of got lost. It looks better on camera. And then the second half, you had to pick a solid color. Well, I figured at this point that my gradient was already it had already kind of been ruined. So I just told my daughter, I'm like, hey, pick my next color, because whatever goes with pink, I don't know. This is actually a stroll gradient too. And so she said, how about green? Because green is fun and springy. But it's not a, but it turns out that it was kind of a tonal. No, I didn't block this. No, I'm not going to. And so it really doesn't show up very well. It shows up a lot better on the camera. But like, people are probably like, well, why did you do that? Like, put all that effort into it and you're not going to block it. Like, do you know me? No, I'm never going to wear this. I'm not going to block it. And I'm not going to not wear it because of the colorway choices or anything. It's just, I'm not going to wear it because I don't wear lacy shawls, okay? But I'm not disappointed because I know what Romi's design looks like, and I assumed that there would probably be some lace in it. So it is what it is. But actually, you know what I thought was really cool? There's these little part that she did where it like drops down into the next thing. Okay, I thought that was fun. I didn't dislike it. It was kind of, the lace was kind of complicated, and there was some cables, and it was really fun to knit. Okay, I really enjoyed it. But would I make that if I just saw the pattern? No. No, I wouldn't. See, it's the tonal. You can't even see. No, I didn't weave in the ends either. I don't know. It is what it is. I enjoyed making it, and that's what matters, right? I guess you can consider it a waste if you don't wear your stuff. Okay, I made these hats, and there's one. I made another one too, okay? Just trust me. This is the Snap Hat by Tincanknits. It's 4 strands of fingering weight yarn held together, and it makes this really, really fast hat. My daughter, I made this for my 8-year-old daughter, and she loves pink and green. And I made another one for my daughter, and that one's yellow and purple. And I think these are the cutest things. They are so good for scraps, which we will get into in a second. And I'm actually planning on making several more because they're so fast, and I feel like having 5 kids, it's probably a good idea to have some winter hats on hand that they can just grab and wear. If they're not too embarrassed, I'll wear them. I don't wear any of my knits, but these are super thick and super fun. It's super fun to play with the colors and figure out what you're gonna do with the gradient. I like it. So that's Snap by Tincanknits. Is it worth the $7 that it costs, or however much it costs? I mean, it's a hat. It's a boring stockinette hat that you just wear inside out. But, you know, I don't mind paying designers, so I did it. Worth it? I don't know. I guess it was, because I made 2 and I'm going to make more, so that probably, by the time I'm done, it's probably going to come out to like 50 cents a hat for the entire pattern, so it's fine. That's so mean. I always just buy the pattern because I can't figure out anything on my own. And so I'm always like, I'll just pay the person because they did the math for me. That's basically what it is. I don't like math, and I feel like if you like a design and you wouldn't have thought of it yourself, you should just pay the designer. It's that easy. Am I looking in the right spot? Somebody let me know. Okay, comment if you're still watching this. Be like, hey, remember the time you asked if you were looking in the right spot? You totally were. And if I am not, don't tell me because it'll hurt my feelings. Okay. So then I want to talk about my advent thing, because I think everybody should know about this sweater so that when you make your advent next year, if you have DK weight or you don't mind holding it together, this is called, I feel like it's called the Vulcan Shawl, and I'm going to have to put it in the down bar. If I'm going to put it in the down bar. You know why I don't put things in the down bar? Here's a story. One time I did. I made this, like I typed it all out, and it was so good. My show notes were amazing, and I saved them. And like 2 seconds later, my sister, who was at her house, was like, her husband was like working on the podcast, and he had just like saved his version, which was blank. And I lost all of that. But now she's not going to do that because she doesn't even know I'm doing this. So maybe I will make show notes. Anyway, so this is called the Vulcan Sweater. I did not weave in any of my ends, so it's very fringy. Am I going to wear this? No. No, I'm not. I shouldn't even say that. If I'm going to wear something, I'll just say it and then you'll know. Otherwise, I'm not going to. Sorry. My legs are kind of sitting here cross-legged. Anyway, so this was with my Hannah Made It Advent, and it was the Never-Ending Story themed. And so I assumed, because it was Never-Ending Story themed, that there was going to be a lot of yellows and browns. And so what I did was I went out and I actually went on Knit Picks. I didn't go anywhere. And I bought some thick alpaca, and then I bought some mohair in a couple colors, and I was like, I'm just gonna make it work. Whatever happens, happens. But what's so fun about this is that there's so many different textures. The cable goes all the way, the cable goes all the way around this direction, and then you pick up all the stitches and continue, and it's just like every day there was something new to knit. But I had to do quite a bit of math and figure out, like, oh, what needs to be mohair, and oh, what needs to be this. But like, look how fun this is. And you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Rebecca, I would never wear that. Well, join the club. Join the club. I don't like wearing my knitting as much as I love creating knitting projects and putting like my heart and soul and creativity into them. Look how fun this is. Oh my God, you guys. I've never worn it. I don't even know if it'll fit me, but I want to make another with my next advent. So there's some purple mohair in there. Obviously, there's the white alpaca. Sometimes it was alpaca and mohair held double. I have gray mohair. Look how cute this drop stitch section came out with her yarn. Oh my god. And so I think that it's best probably to get a advent where you have an idea what the colors are going to be before you can figure out if it's going to look good in a sweater or not. Obviously, there were some moments here where it wasn't actually probably the best choice, like this. This isn't my favorite, but it was just a stockinette. I don't even know. I think I might have just made it up and been like, I'm just gonna do stockinette there. It's whatever. I love this sweater so much. I think it was actually this one that I was kind of like, oh, that looks a little weird. Oh, but oh my gosh, you guys, look how cute this is. I feel like I should just try it on right now, like in front of you, but oh, I don't know. I love this sweater, and I feel like this pattern doesn't get enough attention, and I use DK weight yarn, obviously, right? So you gotta find a, I already said all that. See, this is why I need my sister here, because she'll just hit me and tell me to shut up. And I have no one to make fun of. So it's sad. You guys need to message her. That's why I'm doing this. Okay. Oh, and I wanted to show you my other sweater thing. I don't know if maybe I showed it to you already. But also, I think I did on my last podcast. I have not made any progress on this sweater at all, actually, but I am so excited about it. I just haven't knit on it. I'm making a Zweig, and it's got something on it now. And this is the Zweig of my dreams. The yoke part is lace weight and mohair held double, and I was worried it would obscure the pattern. Got caught on my ring, and it didn't. It didn't at all. It's just soft and fluffy, and I accidentally reversed the colorwork chart right there, and so if you made yours and you're like, oh, that doesn't look right, well, it doesn't, but I don't think most people are gonna notice. So I just have to do the sleeves and like 1 inch on the body, and I'm 100% sure now that I showed you that already, because I remember saying all of that before, so that's fine. Okay, so this entire bin next to me is full of scraps. And so what I did was I bought these bags. I wish I could remember now what they're called, but it's this like airy fabric, almost like tulle. That's gonna make me angry. I just talked to my sister about it because my friend told me that they're great because it lets the yarn breathe so it doesn't get dry rot, but it prevents bugs from getting in because they can't fit through there. So I went through and I organized all of my scraps and put them into like by color, fingering weight, and then I did worsted weights all together. I got some crazy variegated yarns. You know, basically that's it. That's what I did. And so my new pounds and pounds and pounds. So my plan is to go through these and start making some scrappy projects and stop winding yarn, because A, I hate winding yarn, B, I have too many scraps. I need to do something about it, and I'm not willing to throw them away yet. So my plan is by December 1st, whatever I haven't, December 31st, because that gives me 6 months, whatever scraps I haven't used, I'm probably just going to toss in the trash. And I know that's like some big knitting sin, but honestly, if I haven't used them all in 6 months, I probably never will. So I have a plan. My plan is, first of all, I'm going to make, my friend is having a baby girl in like January, and I'm really excited for her, so I'm going to make her a Pengweeno. And obviously everybody knows what a Pengweeno. I'm going to make her a Pengweeno for her baby. And she's a knitter too, so I think she's going to like it. But this is a Pengweeno I made my daughter, my 8-year-old daughter. And so I think that this is going to be the perfect scrappy thing for a little baby, right? Like, how fun would that be in their size? Oh my god, love. When I made this, I actually asked my daughter, what colors do you want? And she said baby pink, baby blue, and yellow. Okay, so I got a bunch of pink and blue and yellow scraps, and I just let her pick the colors. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm knitting on right now. I'm knitting on the back right now. What colors do you want? I'm gonna do these welts. What color do you want? I'm doing the sleeves. What color do you want? And so she picked out everything. She wanted yellow and blue stripes, and I let her pick out everything along the way. And honestly, I think it turned out really cute, and she really loves it. And I used a neon mohair right here, so it came out so cute. Okay, right? 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 Okay, so that is my plan for my friend for some scraps. I don't know what colors I'm going to use, but it's going to look a little less crazy than that. I can tell you that much. And then I have a plan to make a amazing Technicolor Dream Sweater by Stephen West. Obviously, he has a lot of great sweaters and shawls for just using up all of your scraps. And so that's my plan. That's what I want to do. Hopefully I can go through some of these. And then obviously I'm probably going to swap advents with my sister where we make each other an advent calendar. And I might do one with somebody else too, but I don't want to commit to that right now. Mostly because if I say that, I'm probably gonna have 17 people message me and be like, hey, can we do an advent swap? And then I will be overwhelmed and I can't do 17 advents. I already have one coming from Yarn Cafe Creations. Stephanie and I do one every year. I might make one for my mom, just not as a swap, and then I'll probably swap with someone else. So that'll give me 3 advents. Last year I had 4, and I try to keep up, and it's hard to knit an advent in December because you have so many things going on. I had 4 advents last year, but it actually wasn't that bad because 2 of them were DK. And then one of them was only 10 days. That was a gift from a friend. Oh my God, I should have brought that. That one was a gift from a friend. And then I had a 24-day fingering one, which I made a scrappy thing scarf out of. I should have brought all my advent things, but I didn't. Okay, let's see. I'm kind of nearing the end of the pile here. Oh yeah, I'm still talking about scrappy things. So the Technicolor Dream Sweater, and I'm thinking about doing that in like pastels but without pink because everything I make is pink. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but there's a theme there because pink is my favorite color. So I think that I'm gonna do like pastels, and then I want to make a really dark and moody black jewel toned color sweater, and I'm thinking about, what's that other one called? Not a Pengweeno, maybe Starring. I want to do that, and then I'll probably end up just making a jig shawl, which is a Stephen West shawl, fingering weight held double, or DK, whatever you feel like. So I've got that going for me. So my new plan is don't wind any yarn, unless it's for a work in progress that I already have cast on, or the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along, which I'm going to be doing, obviously. But here's the thing is that, okay, so the goal is don't wind more yarn, but does that mean I can still use this and this? Because they're not, well, they're not skeins. You don't have to wind them. So maybe I just hate winding yarn. And so it's very easy for me to be like, okay, I'm not going to do that for 6 months. So I already have like sock yarn wound up. That's not a problem. I have like 3 socks that I didn't even do the second one. So if I need a sock, I can do that. Oh my gosh, you guys, I finally got a sock ruler. Oh, I got it from Heart to Heart Knitting in Paulsbo, my favorite yarn store now. They're so nice. It's not very often that I walk into a yarn store and they're nice to me, because I don't look like a knitter, which is what other yarn stores have said to me. Actually, what she said was, you don't look like the kind of person who knows how to wash wool, and I should stick to acrylic. And she didn't say that directly to me. She said it while I was in the room. She said it's the employee said it to the owner. So I don't look like the kind of person who can wash wool. And I don't mean to be mean. Yes, I do. I can knit better than her, okay? She was like knitting like some garter stitch scarf, which is fine. We've all been there. But don't tell me that I don't know how to wash wool because of the way that I look. I don't even know what a wool washer looks like. But this isn't it, apparently. So I'm gonna stop doing that with my hands. Heart to Heart Knitting in Paulsbo, which is like 20 minutes north of me. So nice. They're so nice. You walk into their store and they just assume that you know what you're doing until proven otherwise, which is really nice. And I go with my boyfriend all the time, and what's nice is that they assume he belongs there too. I was hanging out with Erin from Fiber Hustle, the Fiber Hustle podcast, and we went to this yarn thing, and we will go to this yarn store booth, a local yarn store, by the way, for both of us, and they were like, oh my God, you're such a nice husband for coming. First of all, no offense, Erin, you're not my type. And second of all, no, I'm not yours either. That's fine. Second of all, he's a knitter too. We're We're not married. He's not there to follow me around and hold my bags. But, which, if he was and we were, that'd be fine. But, like, why would you make that assumption about somebody who comes to your yarn store? So, I think guys go through that a lot, but I go through it a lot too. I think that there's definitely an image of what a knitter looks like that yarn store owners get in their head, and then they're like, well, that's not it. So you must have walked into the wrong store. Can I give you directions to the local, I don't know. Anyway, I think that if I was ever going to open up a yarn store, I would like have a coffee shop with it and maybe like a separate bar area, so that in case you did come with your spouse and you weren't interested, you could just sit there and drink. Because I don't know how much of a market there would be for that, but I wish that Home Depot had that. Wouldn't that be amazing if you could go to Home Depot with your significant other and then drink at a bar and just sit there and like knit and drink martinis? Because that's what I want to do at Home Depot. I don't care about any of that stuff there. It's not very nice, but it's true. That's all I want. If Home Depot could open up a bar, like just a little one, I would go all the time. I'd be like, hey, do you need to go to Home Depot for anything? Like, we should go get more stuff. Let's go look at nails. I don't know what Home Depot sells. I don't like going there. Wow. I am knitting a pair of socks. They're a gift for a friend. I don't think she watches this podcast. And this is it's from Dragon Horde Yarn. It's a tale as old as time. It's Belle themed. Belle the Disney princess themed. So it's like brown and it's got some yellow speckles in it. I don't know if it's showing up very well. Do you guys notice my lighting in my phone? I got an light, which I'm using as a pretend ring light. And I have a new iPhone. I have an iPhone 12, which I don't like saying. I don't like people to know I have an iPhone 12 because I'm definitely not that kind of person. I don't even know how to use a computer. Like, I'm the least tech person in the world, but I had to get it for my hearing aids because they weren't Samsung supported, Android supported. So I had to get rid of my phone, which I loved, to get this. All right. Scraps, scrappy projects. Is that it? I already did my life updates. That was at the beginning. Y'all know everything that's going on with me now. I feel like I've lost a lot of my knitting community, and that's really sad. But the pandemic really kind of just messed everybody up, right? But I used to be friends with everybody, and I'm not anymore, and it makes me kind of, not that we're not friends, it's just we don't talk much anymore, and I want my friends back, or maybe just new friends if my old friends don't like me anymore for some reason. I'm a nice person. Did you guys see Chevis's podcast, the Chevy Rel podcast? I was watching it, and her hair is so good. She grew out her gray, and it looks amazing, but I can't wait. Let's see. I just started watching podcasts again. I've been watching the Flame and Fiber, her daily blog. I've been watching that as often as I can. But I just haven't really done it. And I have time. It's not like I can sit here and go, well, I don't have time. I do. I think a lot of people just stopped podcasting, and I was one of them. And so maybe they'll see this and they'll be like, oh, I should get in front of a camera. I'm actually surprised how much I'm talking, considering that when I've been with my sister and she leaves, I just kind of don't know what to say. So I hope that people come back, or I hope somebody starts. And I think that if you want to start a podcast, A, you should, and B, you should actually, because the nice thing about it, especially, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't start a podcast. I'm too awkward. Hello. But the nice thing is that if somebody's rolling their eyes, or they're like, ew, gross, or that was really stupid, or that was really offensive, or whatever it is, you can't see that reaction. Because you know when you're talking to somebody and you say something dumb and they like look at you like you said something dumb, you don't have that problem on a podcast. You just sit here and talk to yourself. I guess you can make your own faces at yourself if you're doing something dumb like that. See? I shouldn't be allowed to be on the internet, I'll tell you that much. That was a mistake. So do I have anything? You know, you'd think I would have planned this out better, but actually what happened was, I was just talking about it on my Instagram stories last night, and because I wanted to watch more podcasts, and because I got locked out of my account here, I got it back. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna make one. I'm always encouraging my friends to make them, especially if they've stopped like I did. I'm like, no, make one. So I can't be a hypocrite. So here I am making one. What else? I've been going on for 45 minutes. That's a lot. I'm not even going to edit this. I don't edit my podcasts at all. at all. I'll do different takes. I did one take already, but I kind of made this weird fart noise with my mouth, and it was really embarrassing. And I was like a minute in, and I'm like, that's not happening. We're gonna start over again. Introduced myself, socials, whips, FOs, life updates. I don't know if I'm gonna go to Rhinebeck this year. I want to, but what happens is that like we talk about going to Rhinebeck, our friends talk about going to Rhinebeck, and then nothing happens. But I really want to go to Rhinebeck, and I want to go with my friend group that I always go with, that I went with one time, but it was super fun. David, what's up? Let's go to Rhinebeck together. Maybe me and David can just go to Rhinebeck together if nobody else wants to. David, do you want to go to Rhinebeck with me? It's fun. Wow. He sent me a package the other day too. Actually, I got a couple packages from people, and I just don't feel comfortable sharing those because they didn't know I was going to make a podcast, and I don't know if they want them blasted on the internet. It makes me uncomfortable because I never want somebody to feel like they should send me a package. Like they didn't, and then they're like, oh no, I should have sent her something. I don't know. I don't feel that way about other people. I definitely am like super socially awkward, and I'm always convinced that everybody hates me. Like not in a paranoid way, but like they don't like me at all. They're just trying to be nice. And I don't know. I'm convinced when people send me packages, they actually secretly hate me, which is the weirdest, stupidest thing. I don't know why I'm still going on about that, because it's obviously not true. I've never sent somebody a package when I hated them. But anyway, knitting. I kind of hurt my elbow, but it's feeling better today, but I think I might actually, I'm not going to take a break. Let's be real. I knit for like probably 12 hours yesterday. I'm not taking a break. I don't do that. I think what actually happened was I was undoing a project that I had done that had a lot of scraps in it, and it took me an hour and a half to unwind the entire thing, and so I was doing this the entire time, and I think that really just messed up my elbow, but it's feeling better today. It didn't hurt that bad. I don't want to hurt it, but I want to knit too. Yeah, I think that's it, because I didn't get out my new yarn to show you. It's up there, but you can't see it. Look how fun this wall is. You want to see? Want a tour? Oh my god. That's all my yarn, which I feel like is a lot, but then I see other people's and I'm like, well, I don't really actually have that much. So if you have more than that, yes, I'm shaming you. Sorry. No, I'm not. I'm super jealous. Envious. There's a difference between jealousy and envy. I learned that on The Simpsons when I was a kid. Pengweeno. Do you guys have any scrappy projects planned? Tell me all about them. I don't know. It's weird talking to myself. Like, how do I, usually I'll be like, okay, Stephanie, it's time to go. Like, we'll see you all again later. But instead it's just me. And I'm like, you know how like when you're talking on the phone to somebody and then you want to be done talking to them, but it's kind of awkward because you don't have an excuse to actually stop. And you just want to be like, okay, I'm done talking to you now. Bye. A lot of times I say I have to pee because nobody wants to hear you pee. And so that's a really good excuse. So I guess I'm done talking to you. So there. I don't know. I might do this again. It was actually kind of fun. Even if no one watches, it's kind of fun. I think you guys should definitely try it. Just upload it, put it on the internet. And if nobody watches it or you're embarrassed of it, then just delete it like it never happened and nobody will remember. That's what I tell myself anyway. Okay, so I'm gonna go because I have nothing left to say and I haven't had anything to say for the last 5 minutes, but that didn't stop me from talking. So I will, yeah, thanks for coming by. If you came back again, and if you are new, well, I hope you enjoyed the shit show because that's who I am as a person. Yeah, so go to my Instagram and follow me and let's be friends. I'm a nice person sometimes. And yeah, so I will come back. If this goes well, I will come back. Okay, so all right, guys, have fun knitting and I will talk to you later.